Hello, gentlemen. Another early morning walk. Don't eat cheese if you're on the lion diet. So this will be a quick video on. Well, I'll just make this a broader part of the video, and maybe I'll make another video on the lion diet. But basically, on lion diet, do not eat cheese. Okay, this is something you guys should let me know. Are the people with insomnia watching these videos? Like, who's watching these videos and why? Like these specific walk ones, because I can put insomnia content and health content in these videos, but I don't really know if people are watching this for the insomnia health content. Let me know, because otherwise I can make it searchable. Like, just let me know basically like which demographic, who's watching this and why. Just because like I want to give you guys the most value, so it just helps me because I'm like, okay, well, if everyone who has insomnia on my channel, or most people have insomnia, I'll stay in the light, on my channel, watch these, then I can just make these right now and then put the insomnia stuff in the title, because I know you guys are watching them. I know that they'll also get watched by people in the future because I can just put this stuff in the title, and because they're getting views, people watch them. But what I don't want to have happen, I don't really care, honestly. I mean, like, I actually, like, I'll just make the videos. I just like making them. I gave up on, like, I used to want to, I was like, oh, like, how do I, like, blow up on YouTube? And I'm like, I don't even care anymore, because it's like, it's just such a different thing than I thought it was. Like, you just make the videos, and then people watch the videos, and then, I don't know, like, sometimes things happen. Like, sometimes they just blow up randomly. I think it builds some momentum over time. So I just make them because I like them. I just kind of have resolved to just make videos that I find fun and engaging to make. So let me know which demographic you guys fall into, like who's watching this, what you're getting out of it, if you're watching the, like, let me know. Because I like to just make these free form. These are very fun for me. Just making these free form walk videos. I start the walk, and so the sun's starting to come up, so I want to get to my wood spot. Also, though, I'm going to make the videos later. I'll make the insomnia video and stuff later into the walk, because this is ultimately about me getting going, but don't eat cheese. So, like, I'm going to still throw on Peterson and just start walking. I want to get to my new trail. I think of myself as building discipline as someone who's documenting things like an explorer. Ultimately, in order to document things in a rigorous manner, one of the chief impediments that must be overcome is the discipline and willingness to document those things and be engaged in the process of documenting on an ongoing basis. Think of things as training yourself in discipline, which ultimately gives you freedom. It's easy once you have kids, because then you're just like, oh wow, if I'm not disciplined, then everything's fucked. This is ultimately one of my favorite times of day. I absolutely look forward to going out and exploring, just like getting to the wooded area. Right now I've got my birch hiking staff, very thick one, seasoned 8 months, testing that one out, all dried. The oak staff I've been using split at the bottom because I just don't know how, maybe it wasn't aged long enough, I hadn't aged that one, or it could be something wrong with the properties of oak. I'll thoroughly test that. There goes a school bus. Getting out in the middle of the woods really makes me think about how in the next 2 years I want to build my own house in New Hampshire, so I don't have to worry about mold in my house, because my wife keeps on bringing that up. I think she's right. Like, I'm thinking about like phlegm in the back of my throat. I'm thinking about like health progress that civilization has made, like the ancient Egyptians. I don't know how much health progress they made, but the Romans had running water, and we have indoor plumbing and electricity and indoor heating that doesn't rely on fire. And I'm thinking, like, what's the next innovation? I think the next innovation is going to be getting all the mold out of your house, because I think houses with mold, I think mold is like really effing people up, in water quality. Mold, like water quality now, and then air quality in the home. If you can fix those things, I think those are some real historical problems. Like castles were evidently like really, take a look around, it's beautiful. Wow, it's beautiful. But castles were very moldy as well, and I think that probably accounted for a lot of medieval reduced lifespan. Like, why else would the Native Americans who lived around here rebuild their houses all the time and live in wigwams? And I was thinking about, like, what's the advantage of that? Like, oh, mold. We're all dying from mold. And you look at photos of the Native Americans, I mean, they're all gorgeous. Like, they all like looked like clear skin, like strong, very, 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 very fit. I mean, at least like a substantial portion of them. Good God, I'm sleepy. I just made the magnesium stearate video. It's really irritating. Can't even have cheese, but whatever. I mean, this is, you got to be strict about the lion diet and just patient, especially if you're just not ever sleeping at all. If you're sleeping somewhat, you can digest food, then this will be faster, but I was literally just not sleeping at all, and I wasn't digesting any food, so this is just taking my body a while to completely heal from this. I mean, I slept like, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours last night, a few hours the night before. But it's the cheese I'm eating. It's like, oh, cheese. It's like easier to digest, so I don't have to time my meals as much and rigorously, but I just have to do that, so I quit being lazy, you know? I love these little stone walls in the woods in New England. They're really pretty. There's some over there, but there's some I passed earlier that are so big. I'm like, holy cow, how do people even move these? Not like megaliths, but just like, whoa, this is some big rocks. This is an American Stonehenge, actually. I went when I was younger. I should probably go check it out again, because might have some really big rocks. It's always impressive when you see really big rocks move. That's really the thing, because like really massive. I'll go find the rock. I am at the rocks. So these are some big rocks, and those are some big rocks over there. So we're gonna check out all these rocks. Like that, like that's really impressive. If you moved a bunch of those rocks, I'd be impressed. I mean, you could move them though. It's not really like megalithic quality, but like to move a lot suggests a serious knowledge of engineering. This, you can see, is, so that's a large rock shelf. And then we have a boulder wall. It's not really a wall, but see, like lots and lots of really big rocks. So if I ever needed more rocks to train with, this would be where I'd come. You'd need a way out to get them out of here. This is cool. Hey, okay, I deleted the last one, so here we go. So, okay, I literally did not set out to discover megaliths. I just was going to show you some very large rocks. I was like, imagine if you could move these. But, so, I think this looks like a foundation. Like, that looks like part of a dilapidated walled foundation. There's the corner. I'm going to go to the corner, and the other side looks like it could be very square. And here we are. So this seems to take kind of a right angle. I mean, like it goes along there. I'll follow that along. And then it goes right along there. And this kind of little, just wonder, I mean, like they're just, it's kind of like a retaining wall almost. I mean, it could have been a natural feature that got added to over time. I mean, this is not exactly Incan architecture. I'm going to walk around here and see if there's anything that looks like could be a foundation. Well, there's a little wall over there. So there's a line of some really nice rocks. Not exactly a foundation. No, not really. Not a foundation at all, I would say. Well, cool rocks, though. That's a really... I wonder how that formed. I wonder how these formations came about. I think these are probably rolled here into a nice line. I think a lot of these were just rolled because farmers wanted to, because all these trees are new. So if you look around all these trees, this is a new growth forest. So that means this was all cut down, and that it had to be farmland. So ultimately they had to move all the rocks somewhere. So I think they probably just rolled them around here. I'm enjoying the actual audiobook Maps of Meaning substantially better than the biblical series right now. Because I already listened to the biblical series. I think this is the chaga mushroom. Well, one of y'all let me know this is a chaga mushroom. But on the subject of walking, I am going to drink a bunch of water. I did take Vyvanse today to see how that affects me. I think it's a chaga mushroom. I'm not going to cut it and eat it right now, though. Last time I was chaga mushroom hunting, I was carrying a saw and had my daughter on my back in a backpack, and a bunch of dogs, 4 dogs, started trying to bite her. Well, their owner's like, they're friendly, they're friendly. They were not friendly. I was trying to hit them in the face with the saw, and I was like, get their fucking dogs away from me. They're like, they're friendly. They're like, rah, 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 trying to bite my daughter because the fucking stupid fucking... Oh, I carry a stick now. I'm going to beat your dog in the face with a stick. I don't care how friendly they are. I'm going to beat you, too, for being a dumbass. I'm not going to do that. That's a joke. But I will beat your dog in the face if he tries to bite me. That's really, really, really irritating. I'm going to drink a bunch of water now because got to stay hydrated. I think Vyvanse may have less of an effect on associative thought. Also, lisdexamfetamine. Maybe because lisdexamfetamine. That's something I'm going to look into. That was a thought that I was having earlier that I'm glad I remembered, so I could share that with you guys. Lisdexamfetamine versus dextroamphetamine and the effects on the prefrontal cortex versus the motor cortex and like motor activity. I think that, I mean, at least as my brain is working better from long-term ketosis, I feel like I need less brain stim and more, it's more of like, I don't know, kind of like a metronome. Serving as like a metronome, just kind of, I mean, otherwise I'll just drink tea continuously, walk continuously. It's really, really cool. I love to, and I can, it's not that I can't focus. I was talking for people with ADHD or people diagnosed, undiagnosed, think you might have it, maybe, who knows, people tell you you have it. I was then start using it, but I was prescribed Adderall because I started doing research on ADHD, and I know I have this tendency towards high trait openness association. This is something Jordan Peterson talks about. He says, I don't believe in ADHD, I just believe in high trait openness, that you're just very creative. You don't have ADHD. And I'm like, okay, Dr. Peterson, so I would agree with you. However, when my brain health deteriorates, that creativity becomes a complete inability to focus at all. So even on carnivore, my brain health was not doing the best when I was prescribed Adderall because, and this was a development, earlier on in carnivore I didn't have as much of an issue, but I was taking paracetam, and then really paracetam stopped working, and then I started taking Adderall. I believe that this was some issue with iron retention. I get into this in other videos, but there's some issue with iron retention, and that I was consuming too little fat. I was just doing ground beef on the carnivore diet at this point, so too much iron eventually accumulated, caused various issues, mitochondrial issues that body tried to compensate for. I had a lot of weird symptoms at that point I can talk about. Okay, I'll talk about that now. So basically I was having constant diarrhea. I'd have like hot flashes, cold flashes, mood swings. This is towards the end. And it was like my body would just like go from like inactive to hyperactive to like extreme fatigue to like hyper reliance on caffeine, and it was just very, very, very unpredictable. And if I'd ever eat anything else, then my body would react even more unpredictably, and I started going off of carnivore to make it more predictable, in which case my metabolism started going down. I kind of rode that predictable thing down to a bad place where my metabolism was very low, which hurt my brain health even more, and then it just kind of was not functional despite still having Adderall. It didn't really work that well, so then I struggled for a few years before discovering green tea. And then just consuming so much green tea, it'll make your head spin. Though the vitamins that I was consuming at this time did help. The vitamins were very, 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 very helpful. It's getting a little itchy, but basically, like B complex is very useful. Salt, just salt, magnesium, zinc. Oh, also iron retention on carnivore over time made me not absorb vitamins well, so I had to take increasing amounts of vitamins. But you still needed all that stuff, but it was just like in much lesser amounts than I was taking because of the iron absorption causing vitamin and gut issues, et cetera, et cetera. So basically now I'm not experiencing any of that. No diarrhea, consuming lots of green tea, only eating ribeye. Very so now it's all going well. My brain health has been improving up again. And again, though, before this, though, I was struggling with ADHD symptoms like my whole life. I was just like, there's another solution besides Adderall. Like, how can a synthetic substance treat a condition that's claimed to be natural? Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, I kind of get it now. I have a more nuanced understanding of things, but I also it is hypercreativity too. I don't think there's something wrong with my brain. I think that okay, like let's say I had the same brain symptoms, but I wasn't hyper creative. I think that people would just say I was depressed. Because, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, but I digress. Basically, now that my brain health is improving because of diet, because sleep healing, water quality. I'm obsessed with water quality. I only drink spring water, green tea. Now gut health is improving, fasting, all this stuff. Now I don't really need as much Adderall. I still benefit from it though at points in time. I mean, we'll see. I mean, I'm just kind of like documenting this and just being very open with you guys, very vulnerable. I guess, I don't know if I'm vulnerable. I don't know. I'm just very defensive as a person. I'm like, oh, I don't know. Am I defensive as a person? I think I'm tactical. I think I'm hyper tactical and strategically aware. And I'm like, I just have analyzed thoroughly that no one can use this information to harm me. So, I'm paranoid. But only the paranoid survive, ultimately. I know these woods like the back of my hand. I'll disappear and then you'll never find me again. I'm a ghost. I gotta walk back and eat some ribeye. Ribeye, guys. It's very important. I've been eating cheese. I'm like, oh, just eat some cheese, keto. And eggs and stuff. It's not working. I need to just eat steak and fast. I don't really like doing that. Like, I do because it makes me feel amazing, but that's the only reason I like it. I digress. These woods are effing amazing. I'm going to listen to some Dr. Peterson and get back home. And if I want to share anything else, I'll put it in this video, guys. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you like. This is a dialogue, ultimately. I mean, it's like a monologue, but it's also like a dialogue. It gives me joy. Okay, I'll put it this way. It gives me selfish joy to have people interact with me through the internet. So I make these videos and interact with me. It gives me pleasure. Like, yes, internet people, tell me what you're thinking. Bring me information from across the web. Here's something interesting I'll just throw in here. So anyway, some people are stuck in the Middle Ages. So when I converted to Orthodox Christianity, I found a lot of people who were stuck in the Middle Ages. They're like, do a vegan diet. God will preserve you. This is for faith. These people suppressed human thought, creating the sublimation of alchemy, which is the acknowledgement that the material world contributes to our mortal existence. And ultimately, then the sublimation concludes in the idea of the Philosopher's Stone, this material object that turns lead into gold, gives you this material power. I mean, really, like, money is a big deal. So, turns lead into gold, and it makes you live forever. It's like, I solved every problem. I think it's like 2 of the things that Satan offered Christ. But, again, not really, not that that's not like the point of the thing. The point of the thing is you got to eat quality food and don't let weird people who aren't like don't get stuck in the Middle Ages. Well, okay, actually it's a little more complicated than that. I think that it ultimately has to do with language. I think that we needed to develop a language capable of combining these ideas, which is a new thing. Like, back when these ideas were first coming about, there wasn't a universal scientific language to describe things. Like, okay, like, there was no way I could take, like, water and describe water in like a mushroom on a tree in terms of water and like fire and lighting it on fire and like what happens. Like, it's just spirits and magic and like, but now I can literally use chemistry and say this is H2O, it has bipolarity, it's like a dipole structure, it interacts with these things for these reasons, certain things get dissolved in the water that gives the water certain like behavioral characteristics under these conditions that then it gets brought up through the tree through capillary action. I can unite all of this within one linguistic structure that, like a tree, even these ideas I can describe, like a tree, it branches out. It branches out. But it's unified at the base. This is really profound because this is new. This is new, this unification. So, through the scientific language. Like, ultimately, science is a Christian project. Science came about from the Christian missionaries, the Christian monasteries of Europe, the nobility of Europe. The language to describe it did the same. The language came from, like, Arabs, 0, Roman numerals, like, well, Roman lettering, like, Greek language, unifying this with like Christian ideas, creating the English language. Like, this is a new thing. We're bringing this all together. So I'm not saying that specific people oppressed humanity, because I don't believe humanity with its proper tools can be oppressed when it understands them. With understanding. With will to understand. You need will to understand. Nietzsche's awesome. My wife started listening to Nietzsche. She was telling me, she's like, I was listening to Bianca and Evil. She's like, Nietzsche said that there are only strong wills and weak wills. I'm like, oh, I just felt so proud of her. I'm like, my baby. Listening to Nietzsche, making me so proud. No, I think after indoor plumbing, the next big scientific, so smartphones. That's a huge innovation. So indoor plumbing, lighting, electricity. Lighting is big. They're not as big as plumbing. Personalized pharmacology, that's pretty big. There's a lot of innovations coming. It's an interesting thought. What is the next innovation as big as fire? Let's say, what's the next thing as big as fire? So the reason I think that a key component of what's going on is gut microbiome. It's like short-term gut microbiome, long-term mitochondria. So if I eat carbs or cheese or anything, it just results down the line in me not sleeping at all, or like sleeping very minimally. If I have carbs, cheese, anything like that. And I'm sorry, brain fart. Oh, but basically it won't happen. So my body has to adapt. I think it's a gut bacteria thing. It has to adapt to the absence of anything but red meat. So the reason I will consume carbs or cheese or something, not that I'm doing that right now because that's being tired, is because I'm craving it. I'm like, okay, I want something else. My gut kind of wants something else. I eat it and I actually feel a little bit better because I'm feeding this gut bacteria. And then 5 days later, I'm awake. Same thing with carbs. I believe this is because so that's the gut bacteria. I'm feeding the bacteria that cause problems. You gotta let them die off. Long term, feeding them causes problems long term, the carbs cause problems because they dysregulate the mitochondria, which lead to gut bacteria. So after I do carnivore for a year, 2 years, gut bacteria are all fine, mitochondria are all fine. Now I can start eating whatever I want. Mitochondria start getting dysregulated, but my bacteria stay fine for a while. So I'll feel bad, but my gut will be fine. If I articulated that, I'm glad.